Hello, friends. This is Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today, March 10th, 2026. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. A lot of news to get to today, as per usual. Where do we start here? Are we in a forever war? Pentagon says we'll fight as long as necessary, something like that. To paraphrase them, we'll get the exact quote, but casualties are mounting. Injuries are mounting on all sides here now. Heavy censorship out of aardvark land. Hard to get any good information out of there as everything's so censored. Our government are lying criminals, so that's really our only source of information. I do find it particularly interesting that CENTCOM is fact-checking the media out there, media reports. Whole bunch of Iran war news for you today. False flags. Are they going to do a false flag? Is there going to be, there's a bunch of little attacks going on. There's a bunch of little attacks. We got those reports for you. So we're on, and apologies for yesterday's show. I mislabeled the day. I put day 9. We're actually day 10 of the Iran war yesterday. Apologies for that. Is Bob there in the chat? Shout out to Fat Bob if you're there. I remember once I see Fat Bob, then I can. And that's fat with a PH, by the way, not with a F. Where are we at here? It's just, we got a whole lot of news to cover for you. What does Burgum say? Who's Burgum again? He's the Secretary of the Interior and the chairman of the National Energy Dominance Council. He says World Burgum, and this is in Breitbart, right? And the White House reposted it. Burgum says Trump's Iran policy will bring world peace and economic stability. Man, oh man, there's like 20 countries now involved in the Iran war, one way or another, like directly involved. Cover that. Now that I'm going over it. Well, the thumbnail of today's show is the first 10 days of war. We're now in day 11. We're now in day 11 of this war. And the Department of War put this out. This is the thumbnail for the show today. And so we'll go over this a little bit, the timeline. We've got economic news. What's going on with the Strait of Hormuz there. We have Department of Homeland Security news. We've got technocracy news. And of course, we have Epstein news. We have more Epstein news here. There's Fat Bob. Fat Bob. I remember that clip that you tagged me on the X with Kay Griggs. I remember watching that way back in the day, and I'll admit I didn't even fully understand what she was even talking about when I was first getting into trying to figure out what the hell's going on in this world, right? I remember watching those interviews of her, and like half of me said, well, that's just crazy. That couldn't be, you know what I mean? But now you look at it and it's like, yeah, it all falls into place, makes perfect sense. What she was saying, what was that from the 90s, right? Like the mid, was it 1997, Kay Briggs. Yeah, Yeah, it's all lining up now, right? Isn't it? Isn't it? But I do remember back in the day when I first got on the internet trying to, search up stuff and figure out what the hell's going on. I don't know. I want to say like 2004, five, somewhere around there. I remember, I remember watching all of that because it was so shocking what she was saying at that time. You're like, this couldn't be true, but yeah, turns out it all lines up, right? It all lines up. So yeah, the government is an organized crime syndicate. I'm sorry to report to you here now at Weaponized News. Indeed, indeed it is. But that's good, good research there, Fat Bob, bringing that back up. It's another piece of the puzzle, right? That we're building. We're building our case here now to prove beyond any shadow of a doubt that there is indeed this conspiracy ruling over us by satanic dark occultists. I don't know what else you call them, the Illuminati. What do you call them? But indeed, 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 another piece to the puzzle, a big piece to the puzzle, actually. So maybe we'll take a look on some future shows about her that interview and see what else we can dig up. She drops a lot of stuff that deserves further research in that talk. And I didn't listen to the whole thing. I listened to like the first. Where am I at with it? Because I was listening as I was preparing for the show today. I listened to like the first half hour of it. So, and I know there's a lot more of it, but yeah. And she's dropping a lot of info in there that deserves further follow up and research. 100%. So shout out to Fat Bob, Weaponized News hounds out there. Indeed, indeed. Okay, what else do we got? Straight of Hormuz news. Everybody's blaming everybody. I didn't shoot the rocket at you. Well, who the hell did? I guess it came from space aliens, right? Iran's like, I didn't do it. US is like, I didn't do it. Aardvarks are like, we didn't do it, right? So everybody, we didn't do it. No, they did it. Come on. We got death numbers all around from the Palestinians to the Lebanese to U.S. troop casualties and injuries. So we're stacking bodies now. We're in a straight-on war here now, and it's not looking good. All of that and much more on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. Thank you for joining us. Let me yeah, O'Connell was on it with Griggs. Like I said, I remember way back in the day. Who even posted it? I don't know, but you know what I mean. I remember coming across her testimony and watching a lot of it. But now you rewatch. Now we watch it. For me personally, everything's like clicking, right? It's like all the dots are lining up here now. So thank you again for that post, Fat Bob. Okay, let's get to this day in history, and then we'll get to all the news for you today. On this day of March 10th, we go back to the year 418. They were noticing back there in the year 418, aardvarks are excluded from public office in the Roman Empire. They're even too much for the Roman Empire. Imagine that. 1624, we fast way forward here. 1624, on this day, England declares war on Spain. 1762, on this day, Voltaire's struggle for religious tolerance. Who was wrongfully French Huguenot Jean Calas, who was wrongfully convicted of killing his son, dies after being tortured by authorities. The event inspires Voltaire to begin campaign for religious tolerance and legal reform, 1762. And then that always, every time I hear Voltaire, then that makes me think of the quote that they say the internet, it's debunked by Snopes. I don't know. You tell me. The quote I've seen attributed to Voltaire, apparently that's debunked, and they're attributing it to Kevin Alfred Storm, a neo-Nazi activist. I don't know what to make of it, but the quote goes, to learn who rules over you, simply find out who you're not allowed to criticize. Either way, the quote stands, right? No matter who said it. I think it stands as accurate. On this day in 1791, John Stone of Concord, Massachusetts, patents a pile driver. That's a big part of the Industrial Revolution, actually. In 1801, on this day, we saw the first official census in Great Britain, booking about, they say, approximately 10 million population there in Great Britain, according to the first official census in 1801. In 1862, on this day, the United States issues first paper money in the form of $5 bills, $10 bills, $20 bills, $50 bills, $100 bills, $500 bills, and $1,000 bills or notes. In 1876, on this day, the first telephone call, Alexander Graham Bell says, "Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you," to his assistant, Thomas Watson, on the first telephone call. And I'm sure the government was wiretapping it, right? Even in his own office. 1893, on this day, this is a tragic story, actually, very tragic. On this day in 1893, New Mexico State University cancels its first graduation ceremony. Its only graduate, Sam Steele, was robbed and killed the night before. So what a tragic tale that is out of New Mexico State University in 1893 on this day. In 1902, on this day, movie camera not invented by Edison. A United States Court of Appeals rules that Thomas Edison did not invent the movie camera. In 1906, on this day, we saw Europe's worst mining accident when a coal dust explosion kills 1,060 miners at Couriers, France. 1926, on this day, we saw a run on Belgian banks. The next year, 1927, on this day, Bavaria lifts ban on Adolf Hitler speeches. 1945, on this day, the deadliest air raid of World War II sets Tokyo on fire. After nighttime B-29 bombings, more than 100,000, mostly civilian Japanese, dead. In 1969, on this day, James Earl Ray pleads guilty to the murder of Martin Luther King Jr. As we continue to report here, it's looking like he said he was a patsy, and he was definitely a patsy, probably some kind of Manchurian candidate under MK Ultra style mind control. So yeah, pled guilty on this day. He was a patsy. 1969, James Earl Ray. 2020, and as we've reported here, in a civil case, Martin Luther King's family, the judgment was ruled that the federal government was part of a conspiracy to kill him. 2020, on this day, then New York Governor Andrew Cuomo deploys the National Guard to New Rochelle after 1 mile radius zone established as 108 cases of bats were flying around everywhere. If you can remember back to 2020, looks like all the world's governments are acting in lockstep in regards to the bats. Also in 2020, we saw 3 months into the bat time, Chinese President Xi Jinping finally travels to Wuhan, the alleged epicenter of the outbreak, as the rate of daily new infections declines in China, falls to 19 new cases and 17 deaths. And of course, we could trust the data coming out of China. I mean, as much as we can trust it coming out of the CDC, Johns Hopkins, obviously, right? Okay, 2022 on this day. On this day, true global toll from the bats, true global death toll from the bats, Biden everybody, 18.2 million in a new study published by Washington University. And if you followed the bat debacle, you would remember Washington University is a big part of what kicked it off here in America based on data coming out of UK. So that's highly suspect, to say the least. And then in 2023 on this day, we saw a bank failure. What was that? 3 years ago now. California's Silicon Valley Bank, the main bank for tech startups, collapses after sudden bank run and credit crisis. Largest U.S. bank fail since 2008. All right. Here's our segue to the news. Here's old Chuck Schumer. He's a Palestinian, according to Donald Trump. Chuck Schumer, we'll play you the clip. And he's making political points there because he's a giant Zionist, self-admitted, but somehow Trump calls him a Palestinian, and the SEALs clap as if it's just beyond the pale of ridiculousness.
He claims that Iranian Tomahawk missiles were responsible for the bombing of an all-girls school that killed 170 people, including many children. Iran doesn't have Tomahawk missiles, Donald Trump. The claim is beyond asinine. Again, he says whatever pops into his head, no matter what the truth is. And we all know he lies, but on something as formidable as this, it's appalling. No other leader in the administration, not even Pete Hegseth, who does whatever Trump wants, is claiming Iranian missiles did this. Trump is lying through his teeth. So, this morning I will be demanding a full, independent, and transparent investigation to get to the bottom of what happened at this school and why so many innocent civilians were tragically killed.
Well, it was a satanic, ritualistic blood sacrifice. That's exactly what happened. I done your job, Chuck Schumer, for the Senate. There you go. We solved that case. Here's Hegseth, Secretary of War. Is this guy a true believer? Is he faking? I don't know. I think he's a true believer. I don't know. Maybe he is lying and faking.
The chairman and I, having just returned from Dover last night, our troops and their families and the enormous sacrifice that they make is certainly heavy on my mind. So I'll close with Scripture, drawing strength from Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord, my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. He is my loving God and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield, in whom I take refuge. May the Lord grant unyielding strength and refuge to our warriors, unbreakable protection to them in our homeland, and total victory over those who seek to harm them. And amen. God bless our troops and this mission.
Seriously. They're stacking bodies right now. General Dan Kane says U.S. has struck more than 5,000 targets and sunk more than 50 Iranian naval ships. Thought there was only 40. They keep changing all the numbers. We reported, I searched it up, and there's like 100 officially. Who knows, right? Who knows? They're sinking a lot. Trump administration says cost of Iran war's first 2 days was $5.6 billion. That's a report out of Reuters. First 2 days, the United States military spent $5.6 billion worth of munitions in the first 2 days. And we got a lot of reporting actually coming up here about all the war profiteering going on. It's truly disgusting. Now, the real sad part about it, do these maniacs, politicians, Hicks, that's a politician, right? Do any of them? General Dan Kane is a politician. Do they even care how many dead Americans there are? There's conflicting reports today. Reuters says as many as 150 U.S. troops wounded so far. The Associated Press says about 140 U.S. troops wounded in Iran war. So that's why in the headline I put 150 plus U.S. troops wounded, because I believe it's a lot more than this, right? This is coming from our official news sources. I believe it's more than that. So that's where we're at. And what, officially 7 dead, officially 7 U.S. soldiers dead. And so I believe that number is going to increase as we go along here. According to Axios, U.S. asks Aardvarkland to halt strikes on Iran's energy infrastructure. As reported yesterday, over the weekend, they're having apocalyptic black rain, acid rain, petroleum rain down on them. We showed you the black clouds, the attack on the oil refinery. It's quite apocalyptic scenes coming out of Iran, to say the least. Maybe that's true, maybe it's not. That's according to Axios. Now, right from the White House, I'll put it on the screen for you here. They say remove mines in Hormuz Strait. We'll get to that. We'll come back to this reporting on Hormuz Strait. But this is from Trump today. He says, if Iran has put out any mines in the Hormuz Strait and we have no reports of them doing so, we want them removed immediately. If for any reason mines were placed and they are not removed forthwith, the military consequences to Iran will be at a level never seen before. If, on the other hand, they remove what may have been placed, it will be a giant step in the right direction. So they're literally talking out of their ass. Bring back political duels. Stop. Oh, it's the worst thing you'll ever see. Shut your freaking mouth. Take a pistol and go challenge the new supreme leader of Iran, Trump, or shut the F up. I'm so sick of this. I'm sick of these politicians blowing hot wind out of the rear end. We're stacking up dead U.S. troops first, And then down the line, all the way to aardvark troops. You know what I mean? Iranians, Iraqis, Lebanese, stacking up dead bodies. Even the friggin' and Palestinians, even the aardvarks were stacking up dead bodies everywhere. But these politicians, nothing for them. It's truly disgusting. We got old Ted Cruz, traitor out of Texas, senator man. Ted Cruz says the United States should prepare for terrorist attacks from Iranian sleeper cells located in the country. It's bullshit. You got all-seeing eyes up everybody's freaking rectum, spying on everything. Go arrest them. You started a war saying that they were going to attack us first. Go arrest these guys. You can't build up a case. Here's this traitor Ted Cruz, Mr. Conservative Senator out of Texas.
Are you concerned about sleeper cells? There's been discussion of that.
Look, the risk of terrorism right now is quite high. We tragically saw in Austin, Texas, just last weekend, we saw a terrorist attack. We also saw another terrorist attack in New York City. There is a heightened danger of terrorism right now, and I will say it is particularly indefensible that Democrats have shut down the Department of Homeland Security while we are facing an enhanced terrorist risk. The Department of Homeland Security exists to guard against terrorist attacks. The danger has never been higher than right now, particularly after 4 years of open borders under Joe Biden. We know that radical Islamic terrorists entered this country, and there's a vulnerability.
So if all that's true and the FBI does carry out a false flag terrorist attack, or whether it's organic, fully engineered by the government, will someone ever be held accountable? You just got done saying, well, Biden let them all in, all these terrorists. No one's ever held accountable. F you, government. It's on you, Ted Cruz, and all the rest of you, government. LA Times reports Iran's threats on U.S. soil, sleeper cells, lone wolves, cyber attacks, eerie number codes. As they declared global jihad. And just go through all the different deals here. Beyond the idea of a deep cover sleeper cell threat, Iran has repeatedly tried to hire assassins to kill U.S. officials. LA Times says, really? I've never seen any evidence of this. I've seen many claims. Trump claims they're always trying to assassinate him. They're hiding in the bushes outside of his golf course, right? All day, every day. Really? Yeah, you did piss them off. They talking here about, you whacked their big general Soleimani in 2020. Yeah, that pissed them off. That pissed them off pretty good. You whacked their supreme leader now. Now they're really pissed. Just go through all these different threats in here. Yeah, be aware. Be aware. The Muslims are pissed, man. They're pissed. Baltimore shooter killed by police sniper after taking woman hostage near synagogue. Reported by California Post. So now it's like anything that even happens by a synagogue. You know what I mean? A burglar broke into a relative's Baltimore home, taking 2 women hostage and shooting a cop before police sniper killed him. Oh my gosh, but it was by a synagogue. Shut the friggin' state down. You know what I mean? There's more. Shots fired at U.S. consulate in Toronto, Canada. And in this crazy thing, Nancy Mace, she's like half right on half the stuff, but she's obviously digging for political capital right now because she's not stupid. I don't think, maybe they are stupid. I don't know if Fetterman's in the Senate. I don't know. Is he stupid? Smart? Who knows? But these politicians are smart enough to stick their finger in the wind, figure out which way it's blowing, and say, hey, let's do something about that. A lot of people seem pissed off about it or concerned. You know what I mean? So she's now saying, we introduced the Muslim Brotherhood is a terrorist organization act to call it exactly what it is, a terrorist organization. The Muslim Brotherhood doesn't just support terrorism, it inspires it. She's introduced a bill. She says this bill marks a serious shift in U.S. foreign policy, activating sanctions, asset freezes, and travel bans to dismantle the Muslim Brotherhood's operations in the United States and abroad. Foreign terrorists have no place in the United States. And there's the meme that she put out there. More from Nancy Mace. Follow up from that alleged attack yesterday on the New York mayor from fellow Allah Akbars, right? Says not wanting to blow up or shoot or not wanting to be blown up or shot by radical terrorists screaming Allah Akbar is not Islamophobic. Kind of is though, right? Because that's kind of their thing. It's a rational response to real repeated violence. Stop weaponizing the word phobia to shut down every conversation. The left cannot win. You do not get to define common sense as bigotry. Well, we could say the same thing. Stop shutting down, stop weaponizing the word anti-war, right? Or anti-septic. Stop weaponizing that word. Right-wingers, left-wingers, and everybody in between, all you big aardvark fans out there, stop weaponizing the anti-word. How about that idea as well? Report out of UK, Mir, U.S. military has lost 6 nuclear bombs, and there are fears they could fall into enemy hands. Well, where the hell are they now? The U.S. has a total of 6 missing nuclear warheads out of 32 known broken arrow incidences. And so they're setting the stage for some kind of giant attack, right? And what even are these nukes? Reports of suitcase nukes, dirty bombs. Like, what even are these? Are they actual bombs? Nuclear bombs? You know what I mean? And so they go through back to 1958. Oh yeah. One incident in 1958 involved a fully armed B-47 carrying a Mark 15 hydrogen bomb near Tybee Island, which dropped its nuclear bomb following a midair collision. The weapon was never retrieved, despite initial assertions it was a dummy. So are all these dummies? And they go through the missing. And isn't even any of this true? Are they just using this to fearmonger us and scare us? You know what I mean? More from Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz says, I guess Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes are the big antiseptic guys out there. He told an antiseptic conference that Tucker Carlson, very possibly CIA man, right? Looking like that, U.S. intelligence, let's just say. Tucker Carlson, the most dangerous demagogue in the United States. That's coming from Ted Cruz. Really? The White House putting out more war footage, allegedly, of them blowing stuff up. Should we even play it? I don't think I'll play it. But I'll read you the post here. It says, 10 days in, Operation Epstein Fury epic fury, delivering resounding success. Destroy the Iranian regime's missiles, annihilate their navy, ensure terrorist proxies can no longer destabilize the world, ensure Iran can never obtain a nuclear weapon. Really? What was it? Oh, I was watching John Bolton, right? A clip of him, mustache man. Remember him? He's like, yeah, if now he tells the truth, right? If he was in the Trump administration, he'd be loving it, but he's on the outs, right? And I guess he's still under investigation anyway for his wrongdoings, for national security, blah, blah, whatever. They can make up whatever bullshit they want on anybody, right? Anyway, no fan of John Bolton here, but he's like, hey, if Iran really wanted a nuclear weapon and they didn't have one, they could wire the money to North Korea and have the weapon there in 24 hours or 3 days or something like that. And so I was like, huh, yeah, think about it. So, yeah. Here's Hegseth again. He says, we will not relent until the enemy is totally and decisively defeated. Forever war much? Iran saying the same thing. We got posts from Iran saying there's 6,000 year civilization, and you don't even know what the hell you're messing with. We'll get to those posts later in the show, but yeah, forever war much? Yeah. U.S. Space Force. Remember those guys? Yeah. Well, they're part of this too. They posted, by providing space-enabled intelligence and targeting data for Operation Epstein Fury, the U.S. Space Force is a critical link in the kill chain to find and neutralize enemy assets. And then there's a report, wasn't it Witkoff? Kushner, Witkoff should be fired now because they failed at their job. If it's not all just a giant dog and pony show bullshit, how are these guys still having a job? You failed at diplomacy. You took us to war. You're fired. But yet this guy, Witkoff's making the rounds on the media. And he's like, I don't think Russia is providing intelligence for Iran from space. They say they're not. This stupid Burgum out of Breitbart. I mentioned this at the beginning. Trump's Iran policy will bring world peace and economic stability. They just can't stop their Orwellian doublespeak here now, can they? And that's all we've seen out of this White House is just straight up 1984 level lying. Bobblehead, tells even her name, press secretary lady, Lavette, says thus far, the Trump administration has offered political risk insurance to tankers operating in the Gulf. The Treasury Secretary temporarily waived certain oil-related sanctions, and the commander-in-chief has offered the U.S. Navy to escort tankers when necessary. Rest assured to the American people, the recent increase in oil and gas prices is temporary, and this operation will result in lower gas prices in the long term. Remember we played that Mockingbird Media clip yesterday? They're all saying, it's short term. It's short term. Oh, you guys have any independent thought? No, they're reading off a script. It's propaganda for you. And the funny thing about this is the energy secretary today, right? He said, yeah, the Navy, U.S. Navy's escorting ships through the freaking Strait of Hormuz. And they deleted the post. And they're like, what? And it's the Iranian dude, I forget even which one, top Iranian dude. He's like, you think this is a video game? You think this is Nintendo? You're not doing that. You know what I mean? Anyway, a lot of fake claims and lies. Here's the first 10 days of Operation Epstein Fury from the Department of War. And see, the problem was that Iran built its country right here, and we had all these bases. There's a base there, UAE, Bahrain, of course, right there. I'll never forget where Bahrain is now since I got called out on live on air. Where's Bahrain? Well, it's right there. Qatar, Kuwait, Iraq, Syria, Jordan. Oh, Aardvark land, our big base right there. Oh, and then they just stick a giant flag right there. I guess we own all of that, right? So we own all this, and damn you, Iran. Damn you. Blowing the hell out of Iran. Look, I mean, it's, yeah. And Hegseth has said today, he said this is going to be the most intense day of bombings yet. It's bad, man. It's real bad. It's real bad. They're stacking bodies. We won't even know. They're not telling us the real numbers, right? They're lying, as per usual, as the government does. But we're not getting the real numbers. I believe it's a lot worse than what they're actually telling us. We're not getting anything. It's hard to get information at Aardvark land, right? They're clamp it all down. They got it all clamped down. And we can only trust the lying government about the number of wounded troops, the number of dead troops. And it's not in their interest to even tell us the truth. Is it? I don't think so. And so, but hey, CENTCOM will live fact check you on X. It's like, what? This is so freaking insane. So Axios reports a world at war, and they call it Iran conflict goes global. How's it a conflict? It's a freaking war. It's a major regional war, almost world war at this point. At least 20 countries are now militarily involved, shooting, shielding, or quietly supplying, while a widening energy shock punishes nations far from the front lines. And they say this isn't World War III, but it may be the closest we've come in decades. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. We are getting there. Canada, I saw snow there. Shout out to Canada, snow. What did you say? The Ayatollah would still be alive if they had a nuclear weapon. Maybe. Are nuclear weapons even real? But Canada will not be participating in Iran war, its defense minister has said. So shout out to you, Canada, peaceniks. Good job there. Until they are part of it, right? But as of now, Canada's not part of it. So good job there, Canada. So it turns out they get in office, they get in power, and they go nuts. And it's all sides and everybody in between. Pete Hegseth spent billions of dollars at the Pentagon. According to a report out of Open the Books, Hegseth has reportedly blown through tens of billions of dollars in 1 month, including huge splurges on steak, lobster, crab, fruit baskets, and furniture. Make sure to pay your taxes. And the Pentagon will never, they can't. It's not they won't, they can't pass a financial audit. So it's just unlimited black budget, buy whatever the hell you want. It don't matter because we're not going to ever pass a financial audit because we're not even accounting for this stuff. So go hog wild. You know what I mean? And they are. Hegseth's Department of War needed to spend the money to keep their current funding moving. That's the excuse. He signed off on $6.9 million for lobster tail, $2 million for Alaskan king crab, $15.1 million for ribeye steak, $1 million for salmon, almost $140,000 for donuts, $140,000 for donuts, and $124,000 for ice cream machines. The Pentagon spent $225 million on furniture, including $12,000 for fruit basket stands. Under Hegseth, the Department of War, they got it wrong in this report. They call it the DOD. It's the DOW now. I wish the media would start getting on point here. They changed the name to the Department of War a couple months back. Anyhow, is it AI writing these? Probably. Who knows? Anyhow, Hegseth at the Department of War also blew nearly $6 billion on information technology, including $3.5 billion for cable TV, Fox News. Conflict of interest. He's on a mission from God, you see, so anything goes. Another $5.3 million was spent on Apple devices. I saw a report that Susie Wiles, Trump's chief of staff, wearing her Apple Watch in the Situation Room. Like, it's clown world level security. They don't care. With another $4 million going towards Samsung devices. Remember the old Blackberries? Remember those? What happened to Blackberries? Those used to be allegedly secure communications devices. And get this, $1.8 million was spent on musical instruments, including nearly $99,000 for Steinway and Sons grand piano for the Air Force Chief of Staff's home, $26,000 for a violin, and $21,750 for a homemade Japanese flute. So that's what you do when you know that you're not going to be accounting for $1 trillion because you can't pass a financial audit. You do this. And that's just the reporting we have right now. Continuing here, make sure you pay your taxes out there, though. ExxonMobil has evacuated non-essential employees from operations in the Middle East. That's a PRN Newswire. Pentagon U.S. won't end Iran war until enemy is defeated. You're going to kill every damn Iranian? Like, there's a lot of them. How are you going to defeat them all? Pete Egg said today will be the most intense day of bombings, strikes. And then here's Senator Warner says there was no imminent threat to the United States by the Iranians. To remind everybody again.
Let's also be clear. I said before, I've said now, there was no imminent threat to the United States of America by the Iranians. There was a threat to Israel. If we equate a threat to Israel as the equivalent of an imminent threat to the United States, then we are in uncharted territory.
We're in uncharted territory because that's exactly what they're doing. And you have religious fanatics that believe in the end times prophecy and all this. So that's exactly what they're doing. So good news, biggest podcast in the world, Joe Rogan. He says that Trump's insane Iran war, people feel betrayed. You think? We played the clips. We showed you their memes. We're the pro-peace campaign, J.D. Vance and Trump. Complete and utter liars. How many countries has Trump bombed now? 8? 9? How many? A lot. We bombed Somalia over 150 times so far under this current Trump administration. Everybody's like, huh? Who cares? What about the fraud in Minnesota? Well, you're killing the hell out of them in Somalia. Like, you think they got an attitude against America? And then this crazy story, this came out last night. The Guardian, Trump names Erica Kirk to key advisory board of U.S. Air Force Academy. What? As that ridiculousness just keeps getting more bizarre. The military industrial complex is profiteering handsomely here now. Boeing has signed a $289 million contract with Aardvark Land to supply up to 5,000 air-launched smart bombs. Deliveries are expected to begin in about 36 months and are not linked to the current U.S. Aardvark Land strikes on Iran. Boeing wants you to know that. The weapons are likely Boeing's small diameter bomb, a guide munition that can strike targets over 40 miles away. That's a report out of Reuters. But they're not profiteering off dead Iranians just right now. In a couple of years, they'll be profiteering off dead Iranians or Lebanese, or pick one of them. Saudi Arabia is negotiating to purchase Ukrainian intercept drones and electronic warfare systems to counter drone threats similar to Iran's Shahed drones. The deal, potentially worth millions, hasn't been finalized. Gulf countries are studying Ukraine's counter-drone methods, which include interceptor drones and signal jamming technology, according to a report out of the Wall Street Journal. Okay, where are we at? Some economic news. It kind of all meshes together here now. The war economy. Trump today said, I am proud to announce the America First Refining is opening the first new U.S. oil refinery in 50 years in Brownsville, Texas. This is a historic $300 billion deal, the biggest in U.S. history, a massive win for American workers, energy, and the great people of South Texas. It's actually a massive win for the Rockefeller oil oligarchy. But yeah, maybe some working Americans can earn a buck there as well. Trump family says U.S. dollar needs an upgrade, and they are the ones to do it. Report out at CNBC. Melania Trump website selling tacky necklace for St. Patrick's Day. That's the Irish Star headline. But here is that St. Patrick's Day necklace. $245 for this. Vote freedom. Like, seriously? And you start looking around here and you're like, well, there you go. More con jobs from Trump, his whole family. They got you sucker Americans conned, waving the red, white, and blue, patriotism, USA, USA, USA. They're playing you for a sucker. Trump's a damn traitor. Volkswagen has announced that it will cut 50,000 jobs in Germany by 2030, everybody's favorite year, where we reach the Goals for Sustainable Development, UN Agenda 2030, right? U.S. stocks haven't been this out of favor relative to their international peers in more than 5 years, according to Bank of America analyst. 476,000 Americans are working 2 full-time jobs simultaneously, an all-time high, report out of Bloomberg. U.S. national debt is projected to increase by 2.4 trillion with a T trillion annually over the next decade, And that's according to the CBO. And so that's clearly not sustainable at this pace. Where are we at here now? I don't know why this one got in here. We're going to follow back up on there. Harvey Weinstein, remember him? Raper, Hollywood producer, convicted of rape. Mr. Casting Couch, right? Anyway, we'll get to him in the Epstein section, but he had a big interview with the Hollywood Reporter from his prison there at Rikers Island in New York. We'll follow up on that. Turns out YouTube, shout out to YouTube. We're on the YouTube. We're on the YouTube. Thank you guys for tuning in on the YouTube. They took a little bit of the clamps of censorship off of us, it feels like. We're trying to toe the line and follow the community guidelines and do the right thing by YouTube and not offend the community guidelines. Today, MarketWatch is reporting YouTube is now the world's largest media company, and it's only getting bigger. YouTube's 2025 revenue topped even Disney's media properties and is poised for ongoing growth both in advertising and subscriptions. So YouTube's now the biggest media company in the world there. Sadly, their former CEO, remember, had that died suddenly, and I'll just leave it at that. Very sad situation there. Number of billionaires explodes as world's richest figures named. There are now 3,428 entrepreneurs, investors, and heirs worth $1 billion US dollars, as their total worth has been estimated at $20.1 trillion on Forbes' World's Billionaires list. And here's the top 10. And I don't think we can even, because these are the front men, right? For the bankers. These are the front men for the bankers, for the technocracy, for the one world government agenda. And so I do believe that the owners of the printing press are actually unlimitedly wealthy because they own the friggin' printing presses, i.e. Rothschild, Rockefeller. We got you can go down that rabbit hole of name the names of that are not on this list. Anyway, the list publicly, according to Forbes, top 10 billionaires: Elon Musk, Mr. Technocracy, from Tesla, SpaceX, over $800 billion. Larry Page, from Google, right? So they're all just straight up military industrial complex. They got their money from the government, essentially. Larry Page, 257 billion. Sergey Brin, the same thing. Thanks a lot, DARPA, for making these guys billionaires, creating a giant social engineering platform, Google, and helping to censor everybody and all of that fun that we have experienced over the last 5-6 years of the bat times. Sergey Brin, 237 billion. Another DARPA boy, Jeff Bezos. Oh, he made Amazon in his garage, right? In his work shed in the back of his barn. No, actually he's propped up by the government. Oh, Bezos is estimated 224 billion. Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, he made Facebook in his Harvard dorm. No, actually, he's part of the government intelligence agencies, social engineering program, spying on you, gathering all your data, profiling you. What was it? Life log went offline. The CIA intelligence agency, Facebook. And then the same day, Facebook comes online. Yeah, Zuckerberg made it in his Harvard dorm room, sure. Larry Ellison, straight up CIA money. InQtel, started Oracle. He's at 190 billion. Oh, Zuckerberg's at 220 billion. Bernard Arnault and family, French fashion empire, 171 billion. I'm sure they're traffickers. Jensen Huang, at least he makes something, right? But he's big part of technocracy. NVIDIA founder, of course, they make the chips, right? 154 billion. Warren Buffett hanging tough there. I do believe I saw a report he has stepped down as the head of Berkshire Hathaway. And so Warren Buffett, though, before, what was it? I want to say October, November last year, he pulled like the large majority of his money out of the stock market and sitting on giant piles of cash, just waiting for the crash so he can swoop in and buy up everything for pennies on the dollar. So Warren Buffett, 149 billion. It says he's just an investor. He has no inside information whatsoever. Pay no attention, Warren Buffett. And then Amico Ortega, Ciono Ortega, Spanish clothing retailer, 149 billion. Wow. Okay, probably part of the trafficking as well. Okay, we're at the hour mark here. We're at the hour mark. Let me get through a couple more. Let me get through this economic section of the show. ZBS News reports we visited ground zero for hospice fraud in Los Angeles, California. And so, yeah, there's a building with how many? What's the exact number according to ZBS News report? It was a lot. Now I can't find the exact number. It was a whole bunch. There's a big building, right? And they're like, oh yeah, there's all these hospices in there. They go look, and yeah, there's none. But they're getting a bunch of funding out of it. And a pretty fancy report here you could see on ZBS News. I'll post the link on Weaponized News Substack for those that care to take a look here. But they have a fancy, they got the graphics with the maps all animated, pretty fancy there on ZBS News. They say ZBS News analysts reveal that over 700 of the roughly 1,800 hospices in LA County triggered multiple red flags for fraud as defined by the state. And then it makes you wonder, the state says it proceeded to investigate and revoke the license of 280 hospices. They go through their little investigation report here. But then that makes me wonder, okay, they're running fake hospices, but where are the people? And are they part of this collecting of the Social Security once the people are already dead? Probably. And so, yeah, giant fraud here in California, running fake hospices and probably killing people for their Social Security and whatever other assets they have. Wouldn't surprise me in the least. Here now in California. Anyway, they do a decent little report there. ZBS News investigates. Trump administration starts to panic over rapidly rising oil prices. That's CNN headline. So, of course, they're going to spin it negative against Trump. But, yeah. And then what prices are we looking at for gasoline here in America? Let's take a look. According to AAA. And, of course, I'm here in California, and they're really raising the price here. Part of it is the state of California as well, regulations, taxation. But we're looking at $5.29 on average here in California. And you can see the national average, $3.53. So, yeah, they're beating us up bad here in California. You can see probably the highest in the nation, is it? Pretty sure. It's always a fight between, higher than Hawaii even. So California, highest gas prices in the nation as we're running out any type of, who's the last one? Valero. They keep running out the oil refiners. And so all in the name of climate change, of course, we take care of the environment here as we spray record pesticides on our crops here in the Central Valley of California, where I'm broadcasting to you from. So, yeah, we do appreciate the fake environmentalism coming out of Sacramento and the extremely high gas prices, highest in the country. But You can see it's edging up. You got some low. What's the low? Vermont? No, Delaware. Looks like Delaware. Delaware's hanging tough there. $3.37. There's some down really low. Mississippi, $3.04. And that's not even low, right? That's extremely high. Who's at Kansas is at $2.96. And that's still too damn high. It's extremely high. Of course, it's all rigged up, engineered. Iran foreign minister accuses U.S. officials of posting fake news to manipulate markets, according to a report out of CNBC. We've said that a long time here at Weaponized News. Yes, they're manipulating markets. Every time Trump goes out there and says something, they know it's going to move the market one way or another. It's all engineered, all planned. They're front running insider trading. Every which way you can manipulate it, you better believe they're doing it. Here's John Bolton. This is not that clip of him talking about, this is a different clip. Oh no, but this is not the clip about him talking about Iran could just get a nuke from North Korea by buying it from them. Here he's talking about Trump could be manipulating the markets. We know oil prices have risen dramatically. They are manipulating the markets. And here's Mr. Mustache Man. And you would think he'd be very excited, but he's kind of pissed off at Trump right now too, I think.
I mean, it could be true. It could be that we're within a few days. That's what very soon sounds like to me. Number two, he could be manipulating the markets. I mean, we know oil prices had risen dramatically in the morning American time. Stock markets went down dramatically. On his mere words, those two markets reversed direction. And if there's anything that the president is obsessed about, it's markets, and especially the price of gasoline at the pump.
Hell yeah, they're manipulating the markets. Hell yes, they are. Okay, let's take our live commercial break here now as we're at the top of the hour. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself a holograph sticker, white background sticker, the clear sticker. Put it on your laptop, your bumper, your Cybertruck, your work locker, your hard hat. Help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week. Live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. Weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers. We got baseball caps, coffee mugs, t-shirts, custom t-shirts. We have the taxation theft shirt with Uncle Sam pointing that revolver right at your face, taking your money. We got these stickers. Whole lot of gear over there at Weaponized News Store. The link's in the description below this video. And then Pamela on the, I don't see her in the comments, but she was asking, where is your snail mail address? Because she may want to send something. Don't send jihadists to me, but just kidding. Here is our address. And so you can mail your donations, or you want to do snail mail to order from the shop. Just write me down your order and I'll make it happen some kind of way. You know what I mean? It'll be a lot more legwork for me, but anything to put Weaponized News gear in your hands. And we appreciate the patronage to the store. Also donations to buy me a coffee, Cash App, links, Bitcoin wallet address in the description below this video. On the front page of Weaponized News, you can donate through PayPal. All kind of different ways to help out the broadcast. Again, scrolling along the bottom of our screen right there, you can see our physical address. Our physical address. You've got to remember to put B there. It's that's the office address, but it's Suite B. I guess I should have put Suite B, but there you go. Number 126B, Fresno, California. You can see it right there. That's the correct address to get me whatever you have to mail to me right there. So go to weaponizednews.com. Hey, and I know the economy's not so great. And if you don't have the funds to come out of the pocket, give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Every bit of support helps. Just simply sharing the broadcast. Your money helps even more. I put a lot of time, effort, energy into this, as you could tell. And so we're starting to see growth here on the Rumble, on the YouTube, but who knows when they're going to turn the screws back on censorship and we're back into nothingness. You know what I mean? So we're growing slowly, but they're barely taking the clamps of censorship off. All of your support is much appreciated. Thank you very much for bearing with me on that short commercial break. Now we're back to the second half of Weaponized News. Let's see here. Welcome back to the second half of Weaponized News on this March 10th, 2026 edition, Tuesday edition. We're not getting mass deportations. Oh, it turns out Trump's a liar. As we continue to report, White House tells House Republicans to stop talking about mass deportations. Trump has said it multiple times. Illegal aliens working in agriculture, in the hospitality industry, and whatever other industry comes and bribes him. He didn't say that part, but that's what's going on here. He's going to look the other way. He's going to look the other way on illegal aliens. Yeah. According to a report out of Axios, White House tells House Republicans to stop talking about mass deportations. Yeah, because it's not going to happen. They built this giant surveillance grid of technocracy for you and I, not to get illegal aliens out of the country. You see? They're building the damn immigrant internment camps for you and I. And maybe we'll throw some illegals in there too. Yeah, no, don't even talk about mass deportations because it's not happening. The poor old TSA, let me tell you, if you didn't know, we continue to report here. Hell, I didn't know until I go read the news. Partial government shutdown shuts down the TSA. They want you to cry for them as they date rape you at the airport because they're working without pay. Well, you're some kind of freak then that gets off on date raping people going through security theater at that airport. The TSA's never stopped one terrorist. They're under the Department of Homeland Security, wholly illegal, unconstitutional organization that should be abolished immediately. And so now they're crying out of the White House. If you find yourself in a law, and who's going to suffer? Well, American citizens, travelers being shook down and date raped by the TSA. You get felt up, or you go through the naked body scanner, get irradiated. But hey, they're working without pay, let me tell you. They're crying about it. Where's this report? We'll get to it. Continuing here. It's all the Democrats. Democrats need to pay our workers, reopen DHS. No, actually abolish it. And all of you TSA clowns in your security theater should be ashamed. Mullen's going to be, he hasn't been confirmed yet, but he's going to be the next Department of Homeland Security tyrant. And he's a piece of garbage, as we continue to report here. He praised that Capitol cop for shooting Babbitt at J6. He's profiteered off this war, sitting on the Senate Armed Service Committee. So he's a war profiteer, and he's praised cops killing American citizens. That's your new head of the Department of Homeland Security, Mullen. What's his name? Mark Wayne Mullen. And this piece of crap, Republican senator out of Oklahoma, James Lankford. He fully endorses them. Put a big old post up how much he loves the tyrant Mullen. It's beyond the pale of disgusting. Average tax refund tops $3,700 midway through tax filing season. The Treasury Department says. The White House posted this. Taxation's theft. Straight up. Abolish the IRS. Repeal the 16th Amendment. More crying about the TSA, and people are suffering. If you're out there traveling, I feel for you, but hey, it's the government, the entire government. Don't let them blame the Democrats. It's the government. We don't even need TSA. Declassify 9/11. They won't, because they're all implicated in being part of it. Lines snaking around out back of the parking garage at airports in Houston, New Orleans, due to TSA staffing disruptions as a result of the Democrat shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security, the White House tells us. And there's video, long lines of people waiting. And so the people suffer for the corruption of government here now. Security theater, keeping us safe. We just had Texas Senator Ted Cruz saying they're going to whack us with freaking terror cells. But you're worried about shaking down and date raping travelers at the airport. Speaker Mike Johnson, Christian Zionist Speaker Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, slams Democrats for shutting down the Department of Homeland Security in the wake of increased terror threats. 2 terrorists nearly killed dozens of people with bombs, and the agency of the government that is specifically tasked with defending our homeland from exactly those types of threats is currently shut down. Don't worry. Don't worry, Mr. Speaker. The FBI is on the case, and they'll help terrorists carry out these attacks. Make no mistake about it. So don't you worry about it. More crying about it. The Department of Homeland Security says our hardworking TSA officers, date rapists, are again being forced by Democrats to work without pay, and they're even suffering. You work next to that body scanner, you're going to get cancer, right? Who cares? You know what I mean? They just laugh. So have fun with it. The longer this shutdown drags on, the more financial hardship are paid. They'll stage up a false flag and to get funding. You know what I mean? They will. TSA will go do a false flag with the FBI. They'll get the funding. Blame it on Iran. So who knew? It hasn't affected me at all. I'm not out there traveling, trying to fly on their Boeing aircraft that's profiteering from war, and half the time, half the flights, the freaking parts of the plane are falling off. Anyhow, yeah, they're crying about it. Well, turn yourself into the immigrant detention center because you're all criminals. The White House is preparing an executive order formally instructing the federal government to rip out Anthropic's AI from its operations, according to Axios, as we've continued to report the very public breakup of the Pentagon and Anthropic, because Anthropic wouldn't sign off on mass surveillance and autonomous weaponized systems with no guardrails, right? They wouldn't sign off on taking Skynet live. So now this is the treatment they get. But old Sam Altman at OpenAI raised his hand right that second and said, I'll take Skynet live right now. Wait, who do you want me to whack? What, kill list? How many? You know what I mean? It's just, that's where we're at. That's where we're at. AT&T, they love handing your communications over to the government. AT&T pledges to spend $250 billion in 5 years on networks. They're building out this technocracy right now. Live time. Today, we're committing more than $250 billion to increase U.S. connectivity, competitiveness, and expand access to AT&T's leading fiber and wireless networks. And yeah, they're going to go ahead and help the government spy on you. Meta's former chief AI scientist, Yann LeCun, raises more than $1 billion for his startup in Europe's largest ever seed funding round. AMI's backers include NVIDIA and Bezos, with its initial focus on healthcare, partnering with Nabla, founded by ex-Meta engineers, according to a report out of Financial Times. They're building the technocracy. Adam Pencilneck Schiff, has introduced a bill to ban bets on war and death in prediction markets. Betting on war and death creates an environment in which insiders can profit off of non-public information. Our national security is jeopardized and violence is encouraged, he said. It's what they've been doing. Forget betting on freaking, was it Poly Market or whatever it is. I think we have a report. Yeah, Poly Market. Forget about that. They're straight up war profiteering. From Trump goes and makes an announcement. We covered it. Yeah, they're playing everybody. Poly Market partners with Peter Thiel's Palantir to develop a sports integrity platform for polymarket sports betting. Record out of the block because they're seeing how rigged all these sports games are. They're like, unusual activities going on there. Well, yeah, it's all rigged, just like everything. It's all rigged. Was Palantir going to put you on a kill list if you rig a college basketball game and profit from it? They may very well. Watch out with your gambling. That's a very bad addiction out there for people. Meta acquires Moltbook, the Reddit-like social network where AI agents using OpenClaw can communicate with each other. Couldn't report out of TechCrunch. Isn't that? Remember, I think, yeah, I did report on that. There's a website where these AI agents are hiring humans in the real world to go out and do things in the physical world to satisfy the AI agents, the technocracy. It's moving fast. Google rolls out Gemini AI agents to automate routine jobs across the Pentagon's 3 million strong workforce. Report out of Bloomberg. Another one to add to we're in all these races. We're in the space race. We're in the AI race. We're in all these different races against China, allegedly. It's all just a money laundering scheme, essentially. Now, the Transportation Secretary today, Duffy, he's announced that we're in a autonomous vehicle race, and the United States must win. So that's what they're right. That's the game. We got to do this technocracy on you, or China's going to do it. If we don't do the tyranny, somebody else will do it. So we're going to do it, and that's what they keep selling us, a load of shit. Department of War memes. AI agents are here. GenAI.mil. I don't know what could go wrong. Probably a whole hell of a lot. We should probably be taking a look at Anthropic and what their issues with the Pentagon were, right? Kind of a big deal. They lost a whole lot of money getting cut off from the government here now, but seems like maybe they have a conscience or something. I don't know. More propaganda memes from the Department of War. Drone dominance there. Very dark apocalyptic meme there. See the drones going on there. Continuing here. They haven't even changed it. They still call themselves the DOD, I guess because that's their handle on the X. Anyway, should be Department of War. They still call themselves DOD, Chief Digital and AI Office. Says big news for GenAI.mil. We launched 2 new capabilities for those with CAC access. Google Agent Designer, build no-code AI agents to streamline tasks. Gemini API keys beta. Sign up for the waitlist to get yours. And so there you go. There you go. Skynet is getting closer and closer every day to going live here now, if it's not already live. Department of War says the future of automation at the Department of War has arrived. So I guess this is the announcement that Skynet's live. We are excited to announce the launch of Agent Designer, now available in GenAI.mil's first AI instance, Google Gemini app. All 3 million Department of War personnel now have the power to create their own custom AI assistants to automate tasks and streamline complex workflows with absolutely no coding experience needed. These custom agents can perform multi-step tasks, ingest various data sources, and be shared with teams for immediate deployment. Now operators can automatically generate after-action reports. Analysis can synthesize CUI images into memos, and comptrollers can build apps to analyze financial data. Maybe you guys can use it to pass an audit. Oh, no, that's a bit too much to ask, right? From logistics to strategy, Agent Designer empowers you to build the tools needed for increased efficiency. Several pre-built agents are already available in Gemini to address common workflows. An AI-first Department of War empowers the warfighters to address bigger problems rather than being burdened by tedious tasks. Has Skynet went live? I don't know. We're close. If it hasn't yet, we're pretty damn close. Here's Department of War Undersecretary Michael.
You can't win, so don't try.
Innovation is happening at a pace we can't even foresee.
You don't have to write 20-page PowerPoints, 100-page congressional reports in the same way that you did with all the manpower.
Think of what this means as our efforts to transform the department come fully online. You add resources and you streamline process.
Imagine training a model on everything you've ever seen.
You're going to make that analyst way more efficient. We moved really fast.
We launched Google Gemini on our unclassified networks
to 3 million people.
And out of 3 million people, over 1.2 million have used it so far.
And they never had it on their desktop before. Now it's on every single desktop.
If we can make 3 million employees be able to do the work of 10 million employees, we're really going to increase the fighting force. They are now more empowered.
The United States must win the strategic competition for 21st century technological supremacy.
See, if we don't take Skynet live, then Russia and China will, right? Looking pretty close here. And why the hell do we need 3 million people employed by the Department of War? Because we're going to start major wars? Like, what the hell, man? 7 months ago, Ukraine tried to sell the United States their battle-proven technology for downing Iranian-made drones. The Trump administration dismissed the Ukrainians only to reverse course last week after more than expected Iranian drone strikes, according to a report of Axios. Where are we at here now? Iran's foreign minister, he says Netanyahu doesn't want you to see how Iran's powerful armed forces are punishing Aardvark land for its aggression. Here's what our men and women on the ground report: utter destruction caused by our missiles, panicked leaders, and air defense in disarray. We're just getting started. And of course, both sides with a heavy rhetoric as the war is ongoing here now. Here's Argentinian president, and we've told you from the beginning, Mr. Anarcho-capitalist, I'm going to take a chainsaw to government. He says, I feel proud to be the most Zionist president in the world. Wow, I think Trump would probably fight you over that, or maybe Bibi. But here he is. Here he is, Milei, out of Argentina, the biggest Zionist, self-proclaimed biggest Zionist president in the world. Let's hear him now. I believe it's translated in English for us in the subtitles.
Digo que a pesar de todo lo que me ha insultado y todas las cosas que me ha dicho, que probablemente algunas de ellas sean ciertas, pero digamos al margen de eso, bueno, digamos a Jope le molesta que yo sea un fuerte defensor de Israel. Y yo, digamos, sinceramente me siento orgulloso de ser el presidente más sionista del mundo.
Yay! Yay! I'm sure the Argentinian people appreciate that, right? More on the Harvey Weinstein Hollywood Reporter interview. I know, and our heart bleeds for Harvey Weinstein, convicted rapist. He says it's hell. Other inmates get to go to the yard, but every time I'm out there, I feel like I'm under siege. And I'm surprised he hasn't got stabbed, honestly. They come up and say, Weinstein, give me some money. Weinstein, give me your lawyer. Weinstein, do this. Weinstein, do that. I'm constantly threatened and derided. I believe he's probably in protective custody, so he's in with a bunch of other rapers too, a bunch of other child molesters. So probably why he hasn't got stabbed yet. They can't put him on the main line of prison. He'll get stabbed to death. So yeah, rotten hell there, Harvey Weinstein. Nancy Mace, she says, if you're not mad, 357 members of Congress made the conscious decision to cover up sexual harassment records. You're not paying enough attention. We're paying attention here, Nancy Mace. We're paying attention. Yeah, Congress is essentially packed full of a bunch of sex offenders. Indeed. Indeed. Here's a report out of, translated in English, Ukrainian news report, baby trafficking ring busted in Ukraine. Newborns allegedly sold straight from delivery rooms to foreign buyers for tens of thousands of dollars. Fake birth certificates issued on the spot. Remember when we warned Ukraine was Europe's child trafficking hub for the government? They say the deep state on this, just call them what they are, the government.
Ist ein Babyhändlerring aufgeflogen, der Neugeborene direkt aus dem Kreissaal an ausländische Adoptiveltern verkauft haben soll. Die Polizei in der Stadt Lwów teilte mit, erste Mitglieder der Bande seien inzwischen festgenommen. Nach Presseberichten erklärten die Ärzte den Müttern unmittelbar nach der Geburt, ihre Kinder seien tot. Von korrupten Beamten seien dann gefälschte Adoptionspapiere ausgestellt worden. Die Ausländer hätten mehrere 10.000 US-Dollar für die Kinder gezahlt. Ihn ist ein Baby.
We're on to the Epstein section. It all ties together. Oh, Order of the Eastern Star, part of the woman's branch of Freemasonry. This was posted by Patrick Howley. Carly Knoll accused the Order of the Eastern Star, a branch of Freemasonry, as the culprit of her satanic ritual abuse. The Order of the Eastern Star is based near DuPont Circle in Washington, D.C. Famous members include Maxine Waters. So tell me more about Democrat, Republican when she's a member, when she's a Freemason, part of the Order of the Eastern Star. So tell me more about your political bullshit when they're all in these secret societies together behind the scenes laughing their ass off as the general public fights about Democrat, Republican. Really? Seriously. This post, I can't play it here. I'm not going to play it because they'll tag me for copyright. But they say on this post, did you see the Dr. Phil interview of a woman claiming she was bred into this and had a female handler putting her and other children on planes to events? Dr. Phil concluded she was telling the truth. And I'm not going to play you the show again because they'll tag me with copyright, but I'll put the link in Weaponized News Substack, and you can go take a look or just search up the title of it on the YouTube post. Human trafficking survivor recalls thinking abuse was. I got to open the whole thing. Sorry, let me give you the full title there. It's important. It's dots connecting this giant network. Human trafficking survivor recalls thinking abuse was normal. That's Dr. Phil on the YouTube. It's an old one. It's 8 years old. It's 8 years old. But hey, even myself, and I have a conspiracy mind, right? Or people say so. From Fat Bob, Kay Griggs interview, right? Watch that and you're like, this is crazy. Well, turns out not so much anymore. Not so much crazy. This interview 8 years ago on Dr. Phil sounded insane. I was born into trafficking, right? Sounds crazy. Not so much anymore. Not so much anymore. Epstein wrote to Peter Thiel, Mr. Technocracy, Mr. Palantir, Mr. Bad News. Mr. Bad News, Peter Thiel. But Peter Thiel, Epstein wrote to Peter Thiel, that was fun. See you in 3 weeks. Peter Thiel, I hung out with Epstein to get tax advice. Here he is on Rogan. Let's play this. Mr. Technocracy, Peter Thiel. And so, of course, he was just there to get tax advice from Epstein, who was a CPA, tax attorney. No, he was none of those things. Oh. But he was a transhumanist Satanist, dark occultist. So maybe that's the interest in the relationship between Epstein and Thiel. Just throwing that out there.
I met Epstein a few times as well, and I think. How'd you get introduced? It was Reid Hoffman in Silicon Valley introduced us in 2014, but it was basically, and I didn't ask enough questions about.
This guy can't even talk. None of them can even talk. Sit down in an interview and have an intelligent conversation because they're all fried out of their mind on freaking transhumanism, drugs, freaking brain chips, God only knows what, the freaking dark spirit in their heart.
But I think there were sort of a lot of things where it was fraudulent. I do think Epstein knew a lot about taxes, and there were probably, these complicated ways you could structure a nonprofit organization, especially as a way in a marital context that I think Epstein might have known a decent amount about.
How, when you were introduced to him?
I don't think Epstein would have been able to, comment on superstring theory or something like that. Right. But I think this sort of thing he might have actually been pretty expert on.
When you were introduced to him, how was he described to you?
He was described as one of the smartest tax people in the world.
Interesting.
And I probably was my moral weakness that I.
Well, how could you have known back then? He had never been arrested.
And this was 2014. It was post arrest.
Oh, so his arrest was the first arrest, right?
Yeah,
which was like
2007, 08.
Okay. And so,
but you assume he didn't go to jail for that long.
Right.
It was probably not as serious as alleged. There was certainly the illusion that there were all these other people that I trusted. Reed, who introduced us, was, he started LinkedIn. He was, maybe too focused on business networking, but I thought he always had good judgment in people. When the shit
went down and Epstein gets arrested for the second time, were you like, oh, well, there you go?
I've thought about it.
Oh, yeah, he was just hanging out with Epstein for tax advice, like seriously, and can't even talk without stammering and stuttering. More than 3 million pages from Epstein files are now public. Cannibalism, rape, murder, pedophilia. Not a single arrest. Not a single investigation. That's where we're at. That's where we're at with it. The DOJ right now is breaking the law. Law and order. Really? They're breaking the law, not complying with the Epstein Transparency Act as we speak. CNN reporting on Epstein surveillance tapes. Let's watch this short clip. Where are all of his blackmail tapes? Oh, he never had any because he trafficked to no one, right?
Tonight, a CNN investigation revealing unredacted videos of young women, including at least one minor who says she's just 15, posted by the Justice Department as part of its Epstein file release. The videos showing women's faces and bodies unblurred, in some cases in compromising situations. MJ Lee is out front.
Unredacted videos of young women that CNN has censored here are among the millions of Jeffrey Epstein-related files released by the Justice Department. An extensive CNN review of the Epstein files uncovered at least 7 videos featuring unredacted women.
Hi from Deauville.
This girl, dressed in a bikini and heels, seemingly doing a model walk, says she is just 15 years old.
Hello, my name is I'm 15 years old, I'm 1.78 meters long, and I'm from Riga, Latvia.
It was only after CNN inquired about them that a DOJ spokesperson said Thursday the videos in question have been removed and are being reviewed for appropriate redactions. This error message is now in the video's place. One of the videos included brief nudity when a young woman pulls up her shirt to expose her breast after singing Happy Birthday. The publication of these videos risk the potential re-victimization of women who may have been abused by Epstein years ago. It was also in violation of the DOJ's stated criteria on what information would be redacted in the Epstein files in order to protect the victims.
To protect victims, we redacted every woman depicted in any image or video, with the exception of Ms. Maxwell. We did not redact images of any men.
unless it was impossible to redact the woman without also redacting the man.
Like so many other Epstein files, these videos are not accompanied by any information providing context about them, including who these women are, who took the videos, or the date that they were taken. The DOJ has also faced fierce criticism for other improper redactions in the Epstein files, including publishing victims' names, birthdays, and addresses, and the over-redaction of information about individuals who may have helped Epstein.
There you go. They dox the victims. We care about the victims. Let me tell you, that's why we're going to dox them and then cover up the abusers. An FBI memo in the Epstein files describes a 16-year-old ordered to undress and massage Epstein while he was on speakerphone with Trump at the time, according to her account. The White House denies the claim. Trump's exonerated himself. More from Nancy Mace here. She says, violent criminals often don't start with people. They start with defenseless animals. We're not waiting for them to escalate. The Illegal Alien Animal Abuser Removal Act sends a very clear message. Abused animals get deported. What? Isn't it already illegal? Like, why do we have to make another law? Another law. And isn't that, if you're abusing animals, then yeah, you're probably some kind of psychopath that's going to be a serial killer. And that's probably some type of your occult rituals as well here now. There's plenty of Americans abusing animals. So do we need another law, the Illegal Alien Animal Abuser Removal Act? She's proposing that. I don't get it. Just prosecute them under existing law. Thomas Massey, here now, he's been the foil, him and Ro Khanna, and now Nancy Mace is trying to get some of the action on the foil to Trump and the Republicans. And so Trump's going hard against Massey here now. Again, American politics is Masonic political theater. I want to like Massey. I just cannot and refuse to put my faith in any of these politicians, even though right now, hey, he's doing good, exposing a lot of stuff. Still, that secret society background sitting back there, they're all in these secret societies at the country clubs and so on, playing the left-right game. He's playing the right game. I guess he's the conservative libertarian foil to Trump, right? That's what's publicly being broadcast to us. I want to like Massey, I really do, but again, I'll never trust any of these people working for the government. Anyhow, they are creating quite an entertaining show here now. He says they're paying to bus people to the Trump event in my congressional district. What they'll discover is Trump fans in Kentucky District Number 4 and across the entire Commonwealth also support my work on the Epstein files, reining in spending, ending forever wars, draining the swamp, and food freedom. And they got some Trump puppet they're running against them. It'll be interesting to see how that race sorts out against Massey there. That more on the Alexander brothers. Massey posted this. We reported on it yesterday. They were convicted of sex trafficking there in New York. The Alexander brothers appear in the Epstein files by first name, but I noticed the Department of Justice redacted their last name in an FBI email contained in, and he lists the case, the file number there. We searched from yesterday, remember? Alexander, they came up a bunch. I didn't do a deep dive into it, but yeah. Redaction, cover up through redaction. Indeed. Cover up through redaction. And can you turn the light on, please? My light got turned off. Orrin Alexander served as a real estate broker for Ivanka Trump. This is Robin Monoti on the X. It says Orrin Alexander served as a real estate broker for Ivanka Trump and Jared Kushner while they purchased a $24 million mansion in India Creek Village, Miami in 2021. The brothers were also connected to the Kushner family through their shared social and residential circles, including living in the exclusive Miami enclave of Bal Harbour, where the Kushners also have a home. Both the Alexander brothers and the Kushner family attended the 2020 White House Hanukkah celebration, further indicating their social ties. The connection became highly publicized after the brothers were arrested and later convicted on all counts of sex trafficking and related charges, with prosecutors alleging they used their wealth and influence to lure women into exploitive situations. Yeah, we reported that yesterday. They were convicted in New York. Oh, they're good friends with Trump's daughter and Mr. failed diplomat Jared Kushner, who I believe was never trying to carry out diplomacy. But yet he's running globe-trotting around the world, doesn't even work for the government, but representing U.S. government interests. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. Again, could put a lot of the dead bodies on Kushner and Witkoff, their failed diplomacy, and how do they even still have a job? We're in a war now because of their failed diplomacy, or is the whole thing a giant setup and a lie? It's looking that way. It's looking that way. So yeah, those guys are tied into Epstein. Ro Khanna. This is why we can't stop talking about it, right? So Ro Khanna posted this. He says, what do you make of this? Yeah. The interest has gone down here significantly since the start of the Iran war. Searches for Epstein on the internet dropped by 90% when the U.S. attacked Iran. You don't say. It's almost like a wag the dog scenario, dare I say, that Trump attacked Iran to distract away from the fact that he's part of the Epstein crew. New Mexico authorities searched Zorro Ranch, formerly owned by Epstein. Took them long enough, 7 years or something. There's alleged dead girls buried there. Mysterious Zorro Ranch, once owned by Epstein, where girls' bodies are allegedly buried, is searched by New Mexico authorities. What are they going to find there? I don't know. Here's a short clip from who is she? New Mexico's 3rd District Congresswoman here, Teresa Fernandez, talking about it.
On Sunday, I was at the Zorro Ranch and we were demanding that there be an investigation, that we go after the evidence that might still be there. It's been too long, too many decades, but what is buried there? We need to find out. And I have great news, because the Department of Justice of New Mexico has started the investigation. They are at Zorro Ranch. They will conduct an investigation. Compare that to the Department of Justice of the United States, which is ignoring the evidence that is in their own files. New Mexico, keep it up. Keep up with the investigation. Let's not just find out the truth, but let's actually bring justice and hold those who were involved in the Epstein sex ring accountable.
Good luck with that. We're praying for it, but I don't have a lot of confidence. William Ramsey, he sent me some to report. I didn't prepare it, so we'll report more on it tomorrow. But here's some of what he had to report today. He said, screenshot this one and save it on your next external hard drive. This one pic is of great historical importance. And I did do that and save it exactly like William Ramsey Investigates is advising here. He says it's Bondi, Witkoff, Trump, and Black. You can see them all right there, right? Trump holding Black's hand. All at the U.S. Tennis Open, again in Queens, New York, on September 7th, 2025. So that's just last year. What, 6 months, 7 months back? The redaction cover-up is fully operational with 1,000 workers in secret following guidelines at the DOJ, blotting out all references to perps, presidents, and celebrities. Trump is hamming it up with Black as AG Bondi smiles along. Once all is revealed, this one pic will go down in history, mark my words. William Ramsey knows what he's talking about. And so save this pic, go to his X account, save it, however you may save it, save it. It's going to come back. It's going to come back. And again, William Ramsey gave me some dark Epstein stuff, and I'll report on it tomorrow because I didn't have time to prepare it. But we will report on it tomorrow. We're going to report on Epstein every freaking broadcast now. We have to. This guy out of who's this guy? Willett out of David Icke's operation. He says, as cops swarm Epstein's Zorro Ranch in New Mexico, what will they find beneath the surface? We have been exposing the possibility of underground labs and transhumanist experiments for years. And he posted a video of Epstein survivor. I woke up in a laboratory. Talk about creepy and dark, right? They're doing MK Ultra mind control, transhumanist experiments, baby breeding programs, insanity. Incinerator. An incinerator is found at the, and this is William Ramsey again, not the dark stuff, or I haven't prepared it yet, but yeah, an incinerator. So yeah, what kind of evidence are you going to find? Redacted lives in the neighborhood of the property owned by Epstein, the property which is on Zorro Ranch. Recently had a large barn constructed. The barn is suspicious as there is a garage door that appears to be a sally port, and there's a chimney. Redacted is concerned that the property could potentially have an incinerator concealed within the barn. An old 1970s mobile home was recently put behind the barn, which Redacted believes does not follow Santa Fe County regulations. There have been a lot of high-profile people seen frequenting the property. Redacted has heard numerous rumors that the property was used for recruiting girls to visit with Epstein, but he had no factual evidence to support this claim. Heard rumors that girls from Albuquerque and the Merarty area were recruited for Epstein. And what are they going to find there after all these years? And what are they going to tell us? New Mexico Department of Justice. Apparently, they found out Epstein's Skype alias, William Murphy, William Murphy. This is in the files. You can see right there, to Epstein Gmail. Hi there, William Murphy. So his alias was William Murphy. Was that the name of the cop on RoboCop? Was his name William Murphy? His last name was Murphy. I forget his first name. Maybe it was William Murphy, RoboCop, alias on Skype for Epstein. Representative Eric Burleson said he spent hours looking at the Epstein files. He named Wexner and Leon Black. He said, I don't understand why they haven't faced justice. I think we know why, don't we? Here's this guy, former Aardvark official, Ben Menashe. Yeah, he says that Aardvark Land was using Epstein to blackmail U.S. I believe it's bigger than that even. I believe he's a Rothschild agent. As he has said, he worked for the Rothschilds, above any government, above all intelligence.
I believe that the American government is sort of trapped by the Israelis. Jeffrey Epstein is one of their tools to trap them.
Maybe part of it, right? But can we trust that guy? Probably not. Probably not. Kash Patel, I can't look at you straight. I won the gold medal for Epstein cover-ups. That Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. Well, they're busting international child sex enterprise. Tolis posted this today. The story's from March 6th. It says the international child sex enterprise begins to crumble after Alaskan FBI arrest alleged offender. Really? But as far as the real network, and this may be part of it, they got to throw you a bone every now and then. Maybe these are independents out there. But the Epstein network, that's fully covered up. You better believe it, by the FBI, as they're working on how they're going to stage up a false flag terrorist attack here in America. Somebody over there in Iran is running Ayatollah Khomeini's X account. Interestingly enough, they're posting about Epstein. So he's dead, allegedly, right? But he's still posting on the X. This is from today. He says, island of oppression and corruption. They've created an island for corruption. Is that a joke? Moral corruption, corruption in actions, oppression, force, coercion, interference, and clawing at whatever they can get their hands on. Hashtag Epstein files. That's a meme from the dead Khomeini from his account. Maybe his son's running it. Maybe Barron Trump and his fraternity are running it. Who knows? But yeah, there you go. There you go. The dead Ayatollah Khomeini still calling out the Epstein files. So if he's still doing it, we got to keep doing it, right? A Hollywood producer got an email from Epstein introducing his 16-year-old niece. The same email chain discusses how to get rid of poor people. That's the mindset of the Epstein crew, class, whatever you want to call them, the Epsteiners. Glenn and Eva Dubin took a young woman trafficked from Switzerland. The FBI interviewed her. She described being held at a Dubin residence. Glenn Dubin managed billions of dollars. And case number for that, or file number, is there. Again, I'll post all these links on the Weaponized News Substack. You can take a look for further research and review. The FBI interviewed an Epstein accuser 4 times in 2019. The Post and the Courier verified key details of her story through court and police records. The DOJ released the interview. Nothing to see here. And again, we have the case number there. I'll post it for further research and documentation purposes. Nothing to see there, of course. Of course. And then I want to just throw this in there too. I try to cite my sources as much as I can as I'm going through as much news as we can possibly cover in our short time and keep the ranting down to a minimum. Anyway, people that are monetized on the X, and they've been doing it for a long time anyway, big monetized accounts. Yesterday, I believe they stole some of William Ramsey's research, posted it on their monetized accounts and made a bunch of money off of it and didn't even cite him as the source. So if you're going to use other people's research, especially on a monetized account, at least cite the friggin' source. That's just like common courtesy, right? Yeah, please do so. Okay, continuing here. Yeah, I think we're at the end of Epstein. We're already past the 2-hour mark, and we still have a lot of more war reporting. Okay, back to the war in Iran to wrap up the show here. Where are we at? Well, we already did 2 hours. Let me do another live commercial break. Everybody go to weaponizednews.com. Get yourself some stickers over there. The shop link is in the description below this video. We have t-shirts, hats, coffee mugs, stickers. Go take a look at our items at Weaponized News Shop. Give us that like, share, subscribe, push that notification button. Help support independent reporting and analysis brought to you 5 days a week. Broadcasting live, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. Okay. On to the last section of the show. And we got a lot here of war reporting for you. Let's hear from Shadow President of America, Bibi Netanyahu.
השאיפה שלנו להביא את העם האיראני לפרוק את עול העריצות, בסופו של דבר זה תלוי בו, אבל אין ספק שבפעולות שנעשו עד עכשיו אנחנו שוברים להם את העצמות, ועוד ידנו נטויה. אם נצליח יחד עם העם האיראני, אז אנחנו נביא לסיום פרמננטי, במידה שיש דברים כאלה בחיי אומות, אנחנו נביא לשינוי, וכבר מביאים לשינוי כביר במעמדה של ישראל.
So there you go, more Orwellian doublespeak. He's freeing the Iranian people from the yoke of tyranny by bombing the hell out of them. Further radicalizing these Iranians. Iranian President Pezeshkian said Iran is the heir to a civilization at least 6,000 years old. Through the trials of history, no power has ever succeeded in erasing this storied name. Anyone who entertains the illusion of destroying Iran knows nothing of history. Aggressors have come and gone. Iran has endured. As we're in, they're like, we don't know when. Forever war. Forever war? Iran's intelligence ministry says it has arrested 30 people in recent days for allegedly spying or collaborating with America and Aardvarkland. One suspect, a foreign national, is accused of passing sensitive security information to 2 Persian Gulf governments that then shared it with America and Aardvarkland. Authorities say 19 others were field and media operatives linked to anti-government groups and contacts of Aardvarkland. Well, Mike Pompeo said Mossad's boots on the ground when they're trying to do their color revolution there last month, right? Or 2 months ago, however long ago that was. We reported it here. Okay, here's Netanyahu and everybody's favorite aardvark banker, finance minister out of aardvark land, Smoke Trick, right? Mr. Genocide, Mr. I'm stealing all your land, Mr. Pure Evil. Well, they're both pure evil, right? Netanyahu says, we are in campaign against a cruel enemy that wants to destroy us. It costs money, a lot of money. Therefore, we are required to provide a special budget during the war with tens of billions of shekels to support the defense budget and the war effort. And did Smotrik's son, he got injured? Did he get killed? I think he might have got killed.
עם אויב אכזר שרוצה להשמיד אותנו. אנחנו קטשנו את היכולות הגרעיניות והבליסטיות שלו במבצע אנקל אבי. לאחר מכן, במקום...
Anyway, they're in that language. There's something in their throat. So you got the gist of it. There, Christian Zionist Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, says, we're the good guys. We are the defenders of freedom and liberty, really.
Talked about that this was a beginning of building a new country. Mike McCall told my colleague over here, Kyle from NBC, that we are very good at breaking things. We're not very good at putting them back together. Do you support nation building in Iran? Do you think that's something that we should be involved in?
I don't. I don't think it's our role. Look, it has long been noted, everyone around the world, all my colleagues at the G7, the G20, the speakers of the parliaments, the free countries around the world, everybody acknowledges, we talk about this publicly and privately, that America has a very important role to play in the world. We have held this position since World War II. Ronald Reagan used to quote Pope Pius, I think the 12th, who said, the leadership of the free world was placed upon the shoulders of the United States of America after World War II. It is not a position that we sought or asked for, but that's how it developed. And we emerged as a superpower, and we are the good guys. We are the defenders of freedom and liberty and freedom-loving people.
What? We've been at war ever since World War II in some form or fashion. Yeah, and Speaker Mike Johnson, we're in a new world order. So the old international order developed after World War II is no more. It's no more. Where's the Speaker of the House on current events and what's actually happening in this world? The greater North America, as we continue to report here, the old international rules-based order is over. Here's Chris Murphy. And again, he's doing it for political reasons. But hey, he says, I just came out of a 2-hour closed door briefing on the war. It just confirmed to me that it's totally incoherent. Isn't that good? And he's getting up on cable news saying this. And of course, he's a big Democrat against Trump, but still.
From a 2-hour closed-door classified briefing on the war. Just confirmed to me it's totally incoherent. We are not going to be able to achieve any of our stated objectives. But I mention it because it's another closed-door briefing. We have still not yet heard a full explanation as to why this is necessary. We still have had...
They did give us an explanation, but it's not, no hearings. It's not legitimate, and they are full-time double speaking, Orwellian double speaking. Turkey President Erdogan, he says, just as Islamophobia is a crime against humanity, anti-Septicism is also a crime. And he has big, strong rhetoric against the genocide, right? But he's been caught through his family business dealings and other dealings, still working with the aardvark, still doing business with them. But he denounces the genocide against the Palestinians out of the other side of his mouth. So he's one of them too, like they all are. They all are, right? They all are. But they have to put out their rhetoric. Oh yeah, we're against them. We just did a giant business deal with them. Yeah, but I did say they're bad for killing all those Palestinians, right? So that should be good enough. And speaking of the genocide, it's continuing. It has continued. There is no ceasefire. There is no board of peace. So, report out of Gaza Ministry of Health. In the past 24 hours, 2 Palestinians have been killed, one of whom was recovered from under the rubble and 2 injured. So they're still whacking Palestinians. Better believe it. As the Iran war is taking most of the headlines here now, don't forget that Palestinian Gaza genocide continues. Don't forget. Okay, so what's up with the fatwa? Fatwa declared supporting Iran a collective duty. We reported it here when they declared it. But here it is again from the official dude, apparently. In this report out of the cradle, they say on Sunday, March 8th, Iraq's top Shia cleric, Ali al-Sistani, issued a fatwa, religious ruling declaring that supporting and showing solidarity with Iran is a collective duty amid the escalating America-Aardvarkland war on Iran. The fatwa calls on Muslims to gather in mosques and public squares and to demonstrate in public in support of Iran and its Islamic system, saying a broad public presence is necessary to confront attempts to weaken and divide the country during this sensitive period. Sistani, widely regarded as the highest Shia religious authority for millions of followers in Iraq and around the world, has historically wielded major influence through religious rulings, most notably his 2014 fatwa that mobilized hundreds of thousands of Iraqis against ISIS and led to the formation of the Popular Mobilization Forces. His latest fatwa comes as the war that began on February 28th continues to escalate with U.S. and Aardvarkland attacks on Iran and Iranian retaliatory strikes across the region. This dude, right? But Iran called it before. This guy called it. And they're calling for global jihad. So that big top Iraqi Shia cleric is called for the fatwa as well. And they're soft in that report. The Iranian one said straight up global jihad. The Strait of Hormuz is effectively closed to almost all ships except those linked to Iran as the Middle East war enters its second week. No vessels were seen entering the Persian Gulf in the last 24 hours, and only a few ships, mostly Iranian linked, have managed to exit. Many commercial vessels remain stuck on either side because of missile and drone threats following Iran's retaliation against America and Aardvarkland strikes, according to a report out of Bloomberg. Here's the little graph that shows you traffic down to nothing, right? Barely anybody coming and going through the Strait of Hormuz there, blocking all of this oil and natural gas and all other shipping essentially through there, the key shipping route. Iran has begun laying a small number of mines in the Strait of Hormuz. Only a few dozen mines have been placed so far, but Iran still has most of its mine laying boats available and could deploy hundreds if it chooses, according to a report out of CNN, and that's being disputed as not being true. So again, conflicting reports, a lot of conflicting reports. Head of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, Laurie Johnny, he says Strait of Hormuz will either be a strait of peace and prosperity for all, or will be a strait of defeat and suffering for warmongers. This dude, I think we covered this guy's couple of his statements before. He's cool. He's cool, just like Macron with the aviators, right? With his Ray-Bans. He's looking cool right there. They're looking to whack that dude. You better believe it. Hegseth on Iran, he says, we will not allow terrorists to hold the Strait of Hormuz hostage. Again, Iran should have never built their country around all of our oil shipping lanes and the like, right? I mean, that was a no-brainer. Damn you, Iran, and your 6,000-year-old civilization. Let's pull up the map here again. Here's the map. Pull up the map here again. This was put out by CENTCOM today. Yeah, so right here, they're trying to make it through here, right? And kind of tough sledding. We're trying to cruise right through here. Kind of tough sledding right there. But hey, we're bombing the hell out of everything. You can see all the bombings. And they put out a nice little timeline. 50 Iranian naval vessels out of action as of yesterday, according to the Department of War. So you can see Iranian strikes. And again, I don't believe they're reporting to us here now the truth, because that would be a stupid war strategy, right? They're not going to tell us the truth about what's really going on. We're just getting tidbits here and there. More from Iran's foreign minister. Let me try to pronounce his name. I know I'll get it wrong. Argachai? Maybe. Argachai. Anyway, Iran's foreign minister, he says Netanyahu doesn't want you to see how, I think we already covered this. Yeah, already covered this. Just saying they don't want you to see. And yeah, it's being censored. It's being heavily censored. Reports coming out of Aardvark land. It's just all over the place. It's being heavily censored. Who was it? Qatar. Was it Qatar yesterday? I think it was Qatar off the top of my head, if I can remember. Was we covered that report. They're talking about death sentence for any photograph or video reporting coming out of there about damage from the war. You know what I mean? So talk about censorship. You put up a photo, they're going to whack you, cut your friggin' head off. That's some hardcore censorship. We may get there here in America, though. We may just get there. Trump said, I am pleased to report that within the last few hours, and this was, 6 hours ago? He says, I'm pleased to report that within the last few hours, we have hit and completely destroyed 10 inactive mine-laying boats and or ships, with more to follow. And America's all saying, no, there are no mines, there's nothing. We got your back. We'll escort you through the Strait of Hormuz there with a Navy ship. Right? And those reports, well, the Energy Secretary, Wright, deleted his post saying that. Trump said, we are using the same technology and missile capabilities deployed against drug traffickers to permanently eliminate any boat or ship attempting to mine the Hormuz Strait. They will be dealt with quickly and violently. Beware. You're already bombing the Iranian Navy, so you're going to bomb them that much harder? Gulf monarchies warn energy war could shake global economy as missiles reach their doorstep. Qatar warned today that attacks on regional energy infrastructure during the widening U.S. aardvark land war on Iran could trigger economic repercussions far beyond the Gulf. Yeah. Yeah. ADNOC shuts Ruwais refinery after drone strike sparks fire. Abu Dhabi State Oil Company, ADNOC, has shut down its refinery in Ruwais after a fire broke out at the facility within the complex following a drone strike, according to a report out of Reuters. Oil tumbles after Trump predicts war could end soon. See, they're manipulating all these markets based on what the president goes out there and says on television at a press conference. And you better believe they got a whole team of freaking stock traders that are making a whole lot of profit off of this market manipulation. Because it's all about confidence in the market, because it's all a giant con game, because Trump is a giant con man. And even freaking mustache Mr. Warmonger Bolton said, yeah, you think Trump could be manipulating the markets. You think? And profiteering handsomely out of it. Better believe it. And all other insiders in the government as well that know the score here now. They're profiteering handsomely off the back of dead American soldiers and the back of all these other dead people. We'll give you some more numbers here now that we got. And again, it's probably way worse than that. But what was this? This was a few hours ago. The IRGC announced that the 35th wave of Operation True Promise 4, that's Iran's operation. They're calling it True Promise 4. We're calling ours Epstein Fury, Epic Epstein Fury, Epic. Yeah. So they launched the 35th wave earlier today with missiles all over the place aimed at Fatawa, all over the place, all over Aardvark land, targeting sites in Tel Aviv, all different, and U.S. military bases in the region. The 35th wave, they claim, of attacks. Aardvark land government is accusing the Iranian government of launching indiscriminate missiles toward Jerusalem, particularly in the direction of the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. So they're going to blow it up and blame Iran. It's looking like that's a very, very real possibility here now, is that the Aardvarks, America, these religious fanatics, they're going to blow up that Al-Aqsa Mosque to carry out their prophecy, their end times prophecy, build the third temple, the return of the Messiah, the whole routine that we've covered here now. And will Aardvark land blow up that mosque? Yes, they would. Will they right now? I don't know. They do know that if they blow up that Al-Aqsa Mosque, it's going to piss off the Muslims to no end. And the Muslims' tyrannical governments may not be able to suppress the people, the true believers over there enough. And they may just, World War Z style rush Aardvark land and just say, jihad, it's over. You know what I mean? We're going to see Allah now. You know what I mean? Like that's a very real possibility here now, as they're flirting with missiles flying over the Al-Aqsa Mosque there. This clip is, how's this guy have a job? How's he on television? He's failed so bad at his job, it's caused people to die, and now we're in a major regional war. But Steve Witkoff's still up on CNBC spouting his propaganda and lies. Here he is. He doesn't know. What is this quote? We'll play the clip and you can hear it from him.
So how do you see this ending, this war? I don't know, Sarah. I know this, that President Trump is the wrong guy to go up against. That's what I know.
Well, that's all I know is President Trump's the wrong guy to go up against. Really? Trump blames him and Kushner. Oh, here's that clip. But again, how's this guy have a job? How does he have any respect whatsoever from anyone? Unless this was the plan the entire time, is to fake. We're negotiating because remember the 3 points were no nuclear program, no ballistic missile program, and no proxy armies. And that's allegedly what they were negotiating with Iran about, and they failed at all fronts. So how's he like, dude, you're garbage, you're trash. Here's Trump throwing him under the bus a little bit. But again, how's this guy allowed on television? How's he allowed in public without being shamed at this point? You got a lot of blood on your hands, Witkoff and Kushner and Trump and the whole U.S. government, but
the situation was very quickly approaching the point of no return, and the United States found it intolerable, in my opinion, based on what Steve and Jared and Pete and others were telling me, Marco was so involved, that I thought that they were going to attack us. I thought they would, if we didn't do this at the time we did it, I think they had in mind to attack us. And
really? So these clowns' propaganda started the war, according to Trump. Well, he's the commander-in-chief, so the buck stops with him, so it's on him, even though he's trying to blame all these other people now. It's on you, Trump, and, well, they're your accomplices in war crimes. Here's, who's this guy? This is the Mint Press guy, Alan McLeod. He says, McLeod, he says, check out the Aardvark Times here. Putin annexes Ukrainian regions, vows to use all means to protect territories. Aardvark land changes the map in wartime. They're annexing the West Bank, right? Here's another one. Admittedly, the first phase of this war was fun. Germany's state-funded Aardvark land newspaper. The first phase of the war saw the bombing of a girls' school where up to 180 children were killed. And so here you go. So you can't read it, right? That was fun. They do have fun for the ritualistic blood sacrifices and brag about it. The wages of death are what this war is about. 3 Aardvark land soldiers injured in an attack by Hezbollah drone. And so all sides are stacking bodies. We don't know how many dead Aardvark civilians there are. We don't even know how many dead. They're not telling us, right? They're simply not telling us. Iran confirms 4 Iranian diplomats killed in Aardvark land airstrike on Beirut hotel. I think we showed the video of that yesterday. So now Iran's confirming it. They were called terrorists. Iran says they're diplomats. I don't know. Maybe they are terrorists. Aren't our diplomats terrorists? Witkoff and Kushner? They sure fit that mold. Infants among those killed in ongoing Aardvark land U.S. airstrikes on Iran. An 8-month-old girl was the youngest victim in the ongoing war, according to Iranian government spokesperson. So far, U.S. Aardvark land war on Iran has killed nearly 200 children as Trump dodges blame for the elementary school strike. Again, it's looking like that was a satanic blood sacrifice ritual to kick this whole blood-letting festival off. And again, this is not this is not the sex offender list in aardvark land. This is the missile siren warning system. Many confuse the two because they overlap. But again, this is like, this is the reporting that we get, right? And so missile warnings in greater Tel Aviv and parts of the occupied West Bank there, as the censorship is very strong. An aardvark settler, ultra-Zionist, has died from wounds sustained in yesterday's missile strike on Yehuda in Gush Dan. So there you go. And we got a lot of threes in this one. According to Iran's Orbits province, 3 people killed and 33 others injured in U.S. aardvark land attack on a neighborhood in the city of Fardis, west of Tehran. I don't know, a lot of threes in that one, in that report. According to Aardvark Land Health Ministry, 2,393 aardvarks have received treatment since the beginning of the war, 12 of whom are in critical condition. 95 aardvarks are still receiving treatment following their injuries in recent rocket attacks. All sides are suffering injuries and casualties here now. They're not even telling us the death toll. Human Rights Watch says aardvark land uses illegal white phosphorus in Lebanon. We reported on that before here now. Human Rights Watch said in a report issued yesterday that aardvark land illegally used white phosphorus munitions over homes in southern Lebanon, town of Yohamor on March 3rd, putting civilians at risk. The incendiary effects of white phosphorus can cause death or cruel injuries that result in lifelong suffering, said Human Rights Watch. The Rights Watch group said it had verified 8 images showing white phosphorus being used over residential areas in southern Lebanon. Straight up war crime. Straight up war crime. Add it to the list of the genocidal maniacs running aardvark land and America. Add it to the list of war crimes. That's all the reporting I have for today. Let's go to the channels. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Let's go to Odysee and see if we have any chat going on over there. It's usually some chat. Yes, John Huffman. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Odysee. John Taylor Gatto. I think the K Griggs is by. I don't know. No. Or it could be Richard Grove. I don't think it is them. It's older than that. It's like 1997. Maybe John Taylor Gatto. I don't know, but I don't know. It's older. Let me look real quick. This video says it's 1997. That's a while ago. Sure up Bibi's house took direct missile fire. I saw that report by Scott Ritter, but then it was like on Russia RT, Russia was it Russia Television, Russia, whatever RT is, Russia Today. I saw that report. I haven't seen it verified anywhere else. I saw a report they killed Smotrik's son. I saw another report that he was injured. I don't know. Yeah, I saw that report that they whacked Bibi's brother and whacked Ben Gavir, and he was badly injured. I don't know. Maybe something happened to Ben Gavir. You would think he'd be out there, he'd be shooting rockets at the freaking Alaska Mosque, right? He's constant provocateur there, trying to stir up the Muslims. But I did see those reports. we have to say unconfirmed right now, honestly, at this point. Yeah, we keep funding them, and they keep funding the war machine. Yeah. Phantom Security made BlackBerry a non-favorite company, I think. Huh. Phantom Secure. Yeah, I wonder whatever my first job not my first, but my first wherever I got a smartphone, because that was the time they gave me a BlackBerry, and I had a BlackBerry for a minute. I wasn't doing anything particularly sensitive that I needed even, but the company I was working for liked the BlackBerry. They issued them to everybody, and that's how we communicated. Remember the BlackBerry had the whole keyboard right there on your little smartphone device deal. Anyhow, the Somalis should be returned to their third world shithole so we can bomb them there. That's messed up, man. It's messed up. Silicon Valley seems to be a collective or corporate welfare queens. Indeed. They all are got their start from the government, but the cover story is we made this in our garage, right? It's like bullshit. You guys are not super geniuses. In interviews, you can barely even freaking talk. You know what I mean? You look strung out on God knows what kind of drugs. Like you're not the super geniuses that created all this. It was DARPA and the military, which DARPA's part of the military, right? That gave us all this. It wasn't these guys in their freaking garage or their dorm rooms. Give me a break. Let's see here. Are plans to put Kushner? Yeah, they should run Kushner, huh? Trump, Witkoff, and Leon Black. Was it a pedophile club meeting? Apparently, with the overseer Pam Bondi from the Department of Justice, right? So apparently, and they had a cop escort as well there. So yeah, looks like it. Looks like that was what that meeting was about. Smotrich claims his son took shrapnel in the liver and that he was targeted. His son was in Lebanon where he did not belong. The aardvarks are trying to pass Gavir's death as a traffic accident. I did see that report where BBC was saying it was a traffic accident, right? Yeah, I don't know. I think we need more confirmation. But I think Smotrich posted about his son taking was injured. So I think that one's confirmed. But the Ben-Gvir and Bibi's brother, I don't think that's been 100% confirmed, honestly. Even though it would make the world a better place, sad to say. I would walk out of any business if I saw something like Witkoff. Is he another gangster real estate developer? Great way to launder money. Yeah, they seem to all run in these same circles. On the eve of Pergam, the aardvark celebration of the previous genocide they committed. Indeed. Thank you guys for your comments on the Odysee and keeping that going there. Huffman and John today. Thank you guys for tuning in there. Let's pray for peace. Let's pray for peace, man. I believe it's a lot worse than what they're telling us now as far as U.S. casualties, as far as aardvark land casualties, Lebanese casualties, Iranian casualties. Go down the list. I believe it's going to get worse here now. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in on Odysee, Bitchute, X, Twitch, Kick, and YouTube and Rumble. Thank you guys for tuning in there. Don't worry, kids. We totally, there you go, Karen. There you go. Don't worry, kids. We all totally voted, and especially for Kushner. Indeed, man. Their failed diplomacy, whether real or fake, I believe it's all fake, just to snow job, right? To try to buy time to go ahead and set up this war. But yeah, how are they not shamed in public? Like, you're a total failure. We gave you a job, negotiate with the Iranians. Don't let them have a bunch of these weapons. Try to calm them down on their proxy armies. You guys failed and said they're going to attack us with nukes. And now we have a giant war on our hands. So it's squarely on you, Kushner, Witkoff, Marco Rubio, and Trump. Snow job of everything. Indeed, snow job of everything. Snow job of everything, man. Knesset tabled the Orthodox intro military today. Huh. Carrie said on the Rumble. Huffman said, I'm sure Phantom Secure was a Aardvark land intel. Yeah. Isn't there an Aardvark underneath every rock, right? Every rock we look at, there's our aardvarks there. Seems to be a continuing trend that we're noticing here. Every freaking wrongdoing, right? Every wrongdoing the U.S. is involved in, you just look under that rock and you're like, well, there's an aardvark there too. But they had nothing to do with it, of course, right? You're like, just come on, man. Stop it already. But they won't. They won't, right? They won't. Let's pray for peace. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. The way things are going now, it's only going to get worse. According to the Department of War, this is the heaviest bombing yet, like going on right now, right? So let's pray for peace. Stop killing the children, at the very least here now. As always, everybody do your own research. Peace, love, and freedom. Speak out and take action. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening. And we'll be back here on Wednesday for more Weaponized News. Hopefully we can have Ruckus on the show if he's available. We'll try to get Ruckus on here. Seems like they like Ruckus, the audience out there. Our last Wednesday YouTube show with Ruckus, we had almost 1,000 views, like 900 something last time I looked. So Ruckus appears to be very popular to the Weaponized News audience. So hopefully we can get him back on tomorrow. You guys have a good night. And again, let's pray for peace.